Hello.
Morning, buddy. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good, man. Yourself?
I'm doing good, man. How are things in Jersey?
Good. Yesterday, John Brown got married, and he was there.
Oh, he
So,
did? He got married?
yeah, finally.
Same girl he's been with forever, though, right? The same girl we met?
Same girl. Yeah, same girl. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good, man. Good, good. How about you, dude? How's everything going with the properties down in South Jersey?
I finally got it rented. The one that I kept. Yeah, I kept one, and I decided to rent it out. It's harder to get tenants down there, like qualified tenants.
Is
That's
it
what I
really?
noticed in the area
Mm.
because most of the people don't qualify for the low income, messed up credit, and all the stuff. So only like everybody's approved for section 8 though. That's a good thing.
Well, Section 8 or more of a guaranteed payment, though. That's good.
Yeah.
What about the building? You guys moving forward with that building?
Bro, that building we had some issue with it was an historic whatever. We changed the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Then they put like a stop order and they're not responding like any emails, the calls or whoever's in charge. Like I don't really know what to do, bro.
Oh, really? So it's a historic building in a historical area, so you got to get in contact with the historical society. And
Yeah, so we have a card also whoever is in charge,
mhm,
email or whatever that my client gave it to me and I keep calling and email him,
no
but
answers.
never I got any answer.
You're just gonna have to pop up in person and see if you can meet the person.
In person, yeah. Okay, but
Yeah.
how would I know when it's open? Because when I went to a regular city, they say that's a different whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a different.
You know what I would do, dude? I would schedule an appointment with the president of the Chamber of Commerce because every city has a Chamber of Commerce because
Oh,
they all know each other. So since you guys are doing business over there, it'd be a good idea for you guys to join the Chamber of Commerce and maybe they can make the introduction for you to the Historical Society. And that's how business is done, dude. It's very political. Yeah, it's about who you know,
good.
who referred you.
Thanks for the idea. I
Yeah.
never thought about it, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I've always leaned on when I've had problems. Like in the property I had in Elizabeth, I have Fulton Street. It was a property with three apartments and one store, and they were trying to say that that store was not legally a commercial space. I had to get it rezoned. So I tapped into my resources, my connections with Maria from the zoning department.
Yeah.
He just drove by and she's like, "Oh, this is fine. Don't worry about it." But they were trying to tell me that like I had to get an attorney involved to, petition the zoning and everything. So, but we got it taken care of. But it was all because I had a previous relationship with Maria. If not, God knows how long it would have taken, how much money I would have had to spend to keep that as a commercial space.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
no,
Yeah.
for sure. What else, man? What else you got going on?
Bro, I don't know, but this market is. I finally got buyers, man, but it's can't get any offer accepted. It's like
It's still hard to
going
get
30
offers.
over asking, and somebody's always bidding more.
Really, it's still hard to get the offers accepted.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know with the houses that I been, but I had like two. I got one cash buyer that I think he's overpaying,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever because he don't really need to flip.
Uh-huh.
And he got like 300K cash. I can like beat up properties, bro. A small, really small, two-bedroom, basement in South Plainfield, which is not even like the nicest area.
So he's
No, but
looking in like
somebody's
Union
giving more.
County.
Hmm?
He's looking in like the same area that you work in, Union County, Middlesex, Essex.
Yeah, that's I was. He don't want to do the sheriff's job. I'll be telling him.
Uh-huh.
He don't want because I guess he's nervous or whatever. He don't want to. Well, I'm
Because
not
of
sure
what's the
why
nervous?
now. Hmm.
He doesn't want to go there because why?
No, he don't say why, but he just, I mentioned a few times, like he just trying to sending me properties from the MLS, and every single property got like multiple offers over asking, which is insane. I mean, I thought
Yeah.
people was like chilling out with the multiple offers.
Oh no, that's a tough scenario, dude. Having to go through the MLS to get a good deal. No way. Hey, Belinda.
Good
But you,
morning. Yeah.
good
Uh,
morning. What about the guy you were working with, Alejandro, that was making the phone calls? He was getting some pretty good leads.
Yeah, so we got one. Basically, the only concrete thing we have because we had it was like they were interested, but and then it's like kind of coffee, stop answering the phone.
Yeah.
We just got one. I think I'll give it to an agent. the same lease I give it to you.
Mhm.
We said, well, we want to do something with it. Well, we give it to like some agent in the area, whatever.
Mhm.
And he got one listing or whatever. He went and he sent me the referral agreement.
That's
That's
good.
the only thing we have like concrete.
Mhm.
Everything else on the air, really.
Oh man, well, you just gotta keep trying, man. You know how this market is tough, but it's not gonna. It's super tight right now, but it's not gonna last like this forever. I would recommend that you look at outside the box because it seems like right now everyone's looking for the same thing. And I went to a real estate meeting the other day where there was this guy there who has been investing in real estate since before we even born, and he was saying that he buys things whenever everyone is looking for something else. So for instance, he said when everybody was looking and when everybody was trying to purchase a certain kind of property, he would look for the opposite. So he buys land. He said he bought a whole bunch of land when nobody wanted land. Everybody wanted like multifamilies, or everybody wanted single families, and he would go buy land because he said he has no competition. He doesn't have anybody to negotiate with. He just gets a real cheap price. And the same thing goes for everything else. Like when interest rates go real high and nobody wants real estate, that's the best time to buy. So right now it just seems like it's really hard, to go after the same thing. So I've been looking at commercial stuff, and commercial stuff, depending on what type of commercial stuff you look at, could sometimes have some pretty good opportunities. So I would say educate yourself on the commercial market and see if there's any gaps there where people aren't really like tapping into, because a commercial might be a good option for some of your clients, man, and just educate them and how it's not that much different. Flipping something commercial and flipping something residential, it's just a bigger number, and it's also a bigger cash out too when they sell.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be looking at the rest commercials.
Mhm.
But usually like in South Jersey, I think that the price is like super cheap or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I see so much potential down there. It's like everything is abandoned. It's like
Yeah,
since everything is look is abandoned. It's a big factory is abandoned, and the whole port is abandoned and selling. The whole
yeah.
port. It's insane.
I'd be a little careful though, Alejandro, with areas that still haven't turned, because there's no guarantee when they'll turn. I remember when people were saying that the ferry was coming to Elizabeth like 15, 20 years ago, and they're like, oh, it's gonna happen this year, it's gonna happen this year. You just never know when an area is gonna turn. Eventually it may, but how long between now and then, are you gonna continue having the same issues or problems? So I would say just, focus on your key demographic area that is gonna do well, even though it's harder to get properties there. At the end of the day, like you said, like, oh, it's so hard to get a tenant in these areas that qualifies, or it's difficult to find a qualified buyer to unload these homes to. And, so I think that the same problems you have on the way in are gonna be the same things that help you on the way out of a deal. The demand and the tightness of the market. So what's up with you, Belinda?
Oh, good weekend, very
Yeah,
good weekend. Yeah,
yeah,
had a client coming off of my video
nice.
still,
Congrats. Another one,
and
huh?
she flew down this weekend. We got her under contract same day. I submitted the offer at 9 in the morning, got an answer by 4 in the afternoon.
Good for you. Where'd she come from, you said?
New Jersey,
Oh,
Pemberton,
oh, nice.
Pemberton.
That's South Jersey, right? Pemberton?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
And amazing deal. I got her a USDA.
Hmm.
She got approved at USDA. The home was listed for 269.
Hmm.
I put in the offer at 250 with $12,000 seller's concession.
What do you think what do you think a home like that could rent for? I heard the rents in Georgia are pretty good.
A home like that could rent for easily 2,000.
$2,000, right? And the
Yeah,
mortgage on that's
anything
gonna
over
be,
2,000, people are hurting.
yeah, the mortgage on something like that price is probably like under 2,000. It's probably like 1,700, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
really good because you can get in there with no money down. That's
I
awesome.
got her in with no money down, and because I asked for the seller's concession, I was just being bold with it.
Hmm.
They approved it, so she's going to get cash back at
Wow,
closing.
that's great. Yeah, I hear a lot of investors down here in Florida are going to Georgia because it's just the cost of labor is cheaper and the homes are actually cash flowing. He said you can't get anything to cash flow here. It's so expensive and so much migration here. And after the hurricane, the market's even that much tighter. A lot of people are going up to Georgia to find good rentals. I heard that's a good niche.
Yes, housing is an issue here.
Mhm,
Rental housing is an issue because I'm finding that a lot of downsizing.
mhm.
The homes that I am going to list next month
Uh-huh,
that I did from my home buyer my home seller seminar, they're downsizing.
are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're feeling the pinch, they just wanna have less overhead?
They just want to have less,
Mhm,
just want to have less. About middle-aged kids are in high school, so they're just preparing for when the kids leave.
mhm,
If they were like me, I'm like, no, you let the kids stay.
that's crazy.
There's no
Belinda,
need to throw them out into the world right now.
yeah, I wanna talk to you about that a little bit. So your home seller seminar went really well, right? Maybe we can unpack that a little bit today, and then I'm really interested in your other method as well. So your home seller seminar, you literally just posted on Facebook Marketplace it was a meeting, or was it in person? I forget what it was.
It was a Zoom
It
meeting.
was a Zoom meeting, right?
Mhm.
All right, it was a Zoom meeting, and out of that Zoom meeting, you had a lot of people register with their email and phone numbers, right? And then you also had people reach out to you directly afterwards.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Everybody that registered for it did it through Calendly.
Uh-huh.
So I had them come in through Calendly so I could capture their information.
Uh-huh.
And then there I pushed out the Zoom link.
Nice. And then on top of that, you also had some of them reach out to you personally who wanted more information on how to work with you.
Yes,
Okay. And those are you're converting to listings, or are you working on that as we speak?
converted for the listings,
Wow, you converted 4.
That's
That's
converted
pretty
for
awesome.
the
amazing.
listings.
So now is this
Yeah.
gonna be like a monthly thing for you, a quarterly thing? What are you thinking?
Absolutely. I've been watching Nolly Williams for
Mhm.
a little bit now,
Yeah, now he's a savage. He's great.
and I have really zoned in his just go after the listings. And I always had that book, that Keller Williams book, $1 Million list real estate agent.
Yeah, I got that
And
over.
he refers a lot back into that book. So I flipped back through the pages and yeah, you focus on the listings.
Yeah. Now he's an ex-KW guy, so he definitely bleeds that book, I'm sure. But it's actually a really great book. It transcends Keller Williams. It really is like a universal real estate book for anybody getting in the business. It's a must read. Yeah, the listings are key. If you're gonna be in this business, focusing on listings it should be your target. The only goal you should be going for. Working with buyers, yes, it could be a lot of times low hanging fruit that you could do well on initially, but that eventually could lead to burnout because in the beginning it's fun. You know, you're running around 1 or 2 buyers, and then as you get busier, you're running around with more people, and then some of them don't end up buying, other ones buy with someone else, so that someone else ends up, not qualifying, and you just kind of get burned out. But a listing priced right is a guaranteed sale. So if you
Yeah.
continue doing that, Belinda, and continue that path, I think you cracked the code for your area.
Well, what he said was become the mayor of your area.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he says marketing is everything. Your face has to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Make sure it's on every letterhead, make sure it's on every postcard, make sure it's on everything. And don't market yourself as a real estate agent, market yourself as a listing specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I start to do that, buyers come out the woodwork. I have 5 buyers in my pipe that are already pre-approved.
Look at that. And
And
that all
so
came
they're
from,
coming.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to spend a dime on advertising.
I'm not spending any money,
You know how
only
much?
on my only on my birthday cards.
Yeah, I mean, and that's awesome. I like that because that's like a really important touch that everyone should be doing. Yeah, that's amazing because Zillow on average, like you can't even expect to get any leads from Zillow unless you're spending at least like $1,000 a month. That's a pretty big number for a lot of people, especially just like trying to get your business going. A thousand
Mhm.
bucks a month, and there's no guarantees you're going to close anything from that. But what you did cost you literally next to nothing,
Nope.
and then you got 4 listings out of it, and then you got a pipeline of other people that you can continuously follow up with.
Yes.
Which if you do this, I don't know if you're thinking about doing it monthly or every quarter, but that list is just going to compound over time, and you're going to do phenomenal numbers just from that one thing.
I'm gonna do it monthly. I'm gonna become the mayor of my farm area.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, I just did it for my little sector of Villa Rica. So,
Mhm.
that's just a city in my county. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep doing it for all the other little marketplace for sale, yard sale spots that I got. And I'm going to fish them in because they're each each marketplace, each group that
Mhm.
I'm in, I made sure that before I joined them that they had over 20,000 in
Members.
their group.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
And
quite
they're
huge.
very active. And so I think that's the main thing too. Don't just join a group just to join a group. Make sure that that group is large enough that you get a pretty good audience.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
did that accidentally, I think.
Good for you. We know what all the greatest things happen by accident, right? I mean, a lot of times you're not looking for you lost something and you're not looking for it, you find it, right? And then that's kind of like, oh man, like if I would have known this, I would have started this a long time ago. And that's exactly how it is. I tell people like, look, it takes time before you find what works for you, because what worked for me or what worked for someone else may not work for you. But if you could survive, because the name of the game is surviving in the beginning, if you survive long enough where you're constantly trying, not surviving and just being dead weight, but constantly trying new things, you're eventually going to find something that clicks. And then once you find that clicks, it's called momentum. You got to double down on momentum. A lot of people, they lay off the gas when they find momentum, because they get busier than they were before and they feel like, okay, I've got it now, I figured it out. But that's the wrong thing to do, because when you've got momentum and you got something to work, you need to consistently do that thing over and over again. And even if you got to work an extra 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day to be able to cope with all the new business, well, you just got to do that. You got to sacrifice for that period of time until you can afford to get help or whatever the case may be. But when you guys feel a little momentum, when you guys feel a little traction, I mean, that's when you double down. That's when you go hard. So thank you for that, Belinda. I really appreciate that. You know what? I haven't heard from Nicole in a while. Nicole, can you say hello to everyone?
Good morning, everyone.
How's it going?
It's a going.
Is it?
Yeah, so you haven't heard from me in a while because I think probably from November, after school started, from November to probably about now, I've had just back-to-back deals falling apart.
Oh,
Like
wow.
appraisals went crazy. I don't know if anybody else had the same experience. Like I had like 4 houses that just underappraised, 20-some thousand dollars, $13,000, $20,000, just deals just falling apart left and right. And appraisal is kind of black and white in terms of buyers and sellers. Sellers are either going to take the reduced price or the buyer is going to add cash. And I service Union, Essex County in New Jersey, and that market is not really the market where buyers are going to have an extra $22,000 laying around to make up the difference.
Yeah.
So when an appraisal falls short $20,000, I'm dead in the water. So that happened like now total of about 6 times in the last 3 or 4 months. So I've been looking at what in the world are we going to do to be able to get past this whole appraisal challenge, to be able to actually close a deal, because when they fall apart, then you're back at zero and you start all over again, running the same risk again.
Mhm.
Um, so 2 things I've done, just trying fish in water, just trying. I signed up with a new lead service. It's called Cheap Ass Leads.
How's that?
Um, I just started it. I'm in my 2nd month.
Mhm.
Um, Nothing closed yet, but 2 people I got so far to qualify.
Okay, good.
But at least they're qualified. And the way their stats go, it looks like out of maybe every 2 months, they're giving about 12 to 15 leads a month. And with the low percentage, every 3 months, it looks like 2 or 3 might go through the pipe just to get some alternatives, just to get something else. The other thing that I've been doing is the city of Newark has a lot going on in terms of housing. They always have a lot going on in terms of housing. I'm working a little bit closer with some of the groups, just to be able to be at the cusp of things when it happens. For example, they know last year was the first year they didn't just sell all the tax leads in the month of December due to COVID.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to get in where I can fit in. Well, if you're not selling it, then what's going to happen? Can we go from the angle of trying to help the owner, or let me see what North is going to do. Are they going to sell it at a later time? Just different angles to be able to do something differently, because obviously with these deals dropping left and right and not appraising, and it's hurting.
Yeah.
So that's just something to do to build. That's going to take time. That's relationship build. So I'll go to the Women Come First housing expo, meet people, shake hands. I'm finding that some of the same people go to it. So I've probably met 2 or 3 people that's interested, but they're far away from qualifying. Building pipeline. It's something. It's not really what I had in mind in terms of, I was doing that to say, if you have tax challenges, you're the owner. Lots of the owners don't really come out. You find people who are interested in buying to come out. So I guess I'm kind of taking what I can get. So far, I've only bumped into one owner, and the owner is just interested in resources to obviously help own, and selling has not been an option, but at least a few owners here or there are coming out. But any ideas, I'm open to it.
No, absolutely. I mean, that sounds like you've got your hand in a couple of different places, but yeah, leads, not sure how they're sourcing their leads with the program you signed up to, but you're getting 12 to 15 consistent leads a month. What is the price point right now per lead? Have you done the math on that yet?
Well, it's not the way the charges happen is right now they want you to sign up. So I have their CRM, which is how their leads are distributed, and that's $117 a month.
Okay.
And off of every close, they want $500.
Okay, so that's pretty fair.
They want it on the back end. They don't want it on the front end.
I
So
get
the
it.
only thing I'm coming out of pocket now is the CRM, $117 a month.
Now, do those leads get recycled to like 4 or 5 agents at one time, or how does they work? Are they exclusive?
They're exclusive, but I'll tell you this: it's that the leads that are coming in, it's out of the 15, you're gonna get 3 with false numbers. Typical, like most, 3 with false numbers, 3 that said, "Oh, I bought a house last month." Like it's just coming through. I'm probably getting 2 or 3, which I'm interested, but maybe in 6 months. So that just goes on, my list of to calls. Yeah, they're by no means, perfect. Similar to what we did with Zillow, but they're exclusive so far, according to them. And they have different plans and programs. You can do like more. So this is just a trial. I said, let's do it for 6 months. Like you always say, let's measure, let's see what comes out of it. But the reality for me, $117 a month wasn't going to break anything.
Yeah. Sounds to me like Facebook leads. Facebook leads are a lot like that. Some of them have bought already, some of them wrong numbers. And then, you get a quarter of them that might be people you nurture, and, there's one that's ready to buy now. So if you end up doing this for 6 months and you find that it's not worth the amount of money you're paying, you can probably get Facebook leads as cheap as probably like a quarter a lead, 50 cents a lead, on the high end, maybe even $1 a lead nowadays. If you want to set something like that up, I've got a video on it I'll send to you, so that way you could tap into that. I know we did a lot of that when we were at Culture, but it seems like you're getting a similar result to what we would see with Facebook.
Yeah, please send it. I'm open.
No, absolutely. And as far as stuff going on in Newark politically, like are they opening up new projects and developments to like clean up certain areas and create more jobs and opportunities? Like, are they doing a lot of that? Is that what's fueling the market there?
Yes, they're doing tons of that. You have at least a handful that I can think of off the top of my head. Celebrities coming and opening up a high-rise building. Shaq is doing one. Queen Latifah is doing another one. You have another basketball player that's doing another one. You have a train station where they started construction off of Freeland Eisen Avenue that's supposed to come and connect to North Penn. You have the studios. I don't know where that's going. Some type of studios that's affiliated with like Warner Brothers or something to that effect that's coming. So they're moving and shaking. They have like positions of people doing things. You have Beth Israel Hospital. They just invested $120 million into it to redevelop it. It's a lot happening.
Wow.
Nicola.
Yes, sir.
How about doing a video on all this knowledge that you have on NOR? You can attract buyers and sellers too, because you have a lot of knowledge in the area, really.
What do you think about the focus of the video? What would the video?
Let's say, for example, a like 30 seconds video, whatever, like reels. That's what is working for me. And to be honest, like people ask, people like when you're in front of them, it's like they can. Let's say, for example, you say, "No is coming out with such and such is doing this, that, like 30 seconds." I can help you with that if you like. And I'll
Yeah.
put the letters and all that, like the way I've been doing the videos. And I think that would be great because you have a lot of knowledge on it.
Hey, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
Whenever I've thought to do videos, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like what's the subject matter? Where do I start?
You
When
just
do I?
rattled off a dozen ideas. You literally said Shaq's opening a building. That could be a video on its own. Queen Latifah's opening a video, a building. That's a video on its own.
Yep.
Train station. That's a video on its own. You just literally rattled off half a dozen ideas in like 30 seconds. So take a moment one day and just write down everything Newark is doing, and each one of those could be a video.
Okay, I will do that.
If I may, so as you're talking in front of the video and you're saying, Shaq and Queen Latifah are coming into the newer community and they're investing in these high rises, and then you can shoot a clip where you're actually just shooting the area where the development is going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then you're talking over it also. So it's a quick shot of you talking in front of the video, and then, a shot of as you're talking, you're videoing the area that's
gunshot.
being
Yeah.
developed.
Okay, those are pretty good ideas. I showed some multi this weekend, and a multi 3-unit in Newark now. The one I showed this weekend is up to $750,000.
What location? What's it?
It was by Beth Israel Hospital, Harding, literally from across the street. It's the parking deck for the hospital, week wake section.
Oh, Weequay,
It's
huh?
yeah, week wake.
Yeah, I know
Out-
exactly.
And I called the listing agent yesterday. She's like, "Oh, we already had 3 offers, but we're showing all day today, which is Sunday. We expect more." I'm like, "The house is $750,000."
750 for a 3-family by Weequay Park. That's
Literally behind the hospital, behind Beth Israel Hospital.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
insane.
floored. I was floored.
I bought a 2-family there for 40 grand a while back.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's outrageous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jose probably has a ton of stories about that area. Jose knows Newark very well. That's crazy. Oh, good to know. Good to know. Where are the people coming from? Brooklyn? Where are they coming in from?
No, my buyer's from Jersey City. We're
Uh-huh.
gonna put a name for him, by the way. The thing too, keep in mind, if it's 3 units, rents are out of control as well. So a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom now in Newark that's renovated is going for about $2,500.
Yikes.
So, like they take that into consideration for the mortgage. So although it's 750, she's probably out of that, she's probably carrying about the 400, when lenders consider the rental amounts.
Yeah.
And something else they're doing, which I saw a couple of weeks ago, but I thought it was just a fluke, but I saw again yesterday, is they're doing really awkward renovation. For example, yesterday the units had 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. 3 and 1, and they renovated it. They took, the older construction that has that sunroom in the front.
Yep. They turned that
Of
into
course,
a bathroom.
they made it a 4th bedroom, and they took out some of those older homes in Weequahic had like a pantry. They took the pantry out and they literally put an entire 2nd bathroom next door to a 1st bathroom.
Wow. So they're making it 4
Instead of-
bedrooms, 2 baths?
Instead of putting that other one in the master suite, no, it's the 4 rooms and 2 full bathrooms literally next to each other in the hallway. Not 1 bathroom in a master, or not 1 bathroom in a bedroom.
That's crazy.
I saw it like probably before Christmas, and I thought, oh, it was probably one person that was just doing something, like I'm trying something. No, yesterday I saw it again. I'm like, this is becoming normalish. 2 bathrooms, 2 full bathrooms, literally right next to each other, new renovation.
Yeah.
I was floored. Didn't make sense. Why not put it in a master? But I guess if they still get credit for 2 bathrooms and it's easier in terms of construction and it works and people are buying it, you go with what works, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't have to add more square footage.
Yeah, they're
great.
changing things.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Chris, you called me the other day, man. You were telling me about the sheriff's house and you were making your way back to the Morris County ones. Have you seen inventories dry up there? I think you were telling me there was like nobody there at the last one.
Yeah, there was very few people there. You always see new faces there, but there was probably maybe 6 or 7 properties that were auctioned off.
Mhm.
And they were all overpriced. I mean, even the one that sold was purchased by a gentleman who's there actively bidding every week,
Mhm.
buying every month. And I think he paid top dollar for it because he bought it for his daughter.
Got it.
But I think the banks are just, from what I see, unrealistic
Mhm.
with the prices that they're asking.
Yeah. Well, banks aren't stupid. They have analysts that work for them. Why do you think banks are asking for so much money at share sales now? You think it's because they know they can get more as time goes by?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to it. I've always had a theory on when a bank denies a short sale or a bank asks for a specific number as the upset, which is higher than what it probably should sell for. My theory's always been that they have mortgage insurance policies
Yeah.
that are written against these mortgages that probably have language in them that say, if you settle, then we're only going to pay you out, 50% of your loss. If you go through foreclosure totally, we'll pay 100% of your loss.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that theory is. Be interesting to ask, someone who's involved in that banking world.
Yeah, that's a great topic, man. I'll look into that.
So I have an opinion on my experience with the sheriff sale, because I've been following up this property like from when the people just default, they're trying to do a short sale, and then to the foreclose, to the whole foreclosure process. And I think they want like top, like they don't want somebody to buy at the sheriff sale, because they think that when they buy it back for $1,000 or $100 or whatever the county is, right? Then they give it back to either auction.com or Hubsuit, and they can get like so much exposure to a lot more bidders, and they usually sell to a lot more price on Hubsuit or auction.com than they would have sold. So I think they cannot reduce the loss, or maybe you're right with the insurance situation. I don't really know, but the people I've talked to, I spoke to a couple of people that work in at the bank, like it's a lady that you used to announce. And you're seeing each other like every other week, so we kind of like talking, and I think this is gone because they think they can get more exposure when they put it on the MLS than just get somebody, 6 people to bid on it. I think
Possibly.
answer
Hmm.
people.
Louis, I think in preparation for the amount of properties that are getting foreclosed on now, because as you know, they're working on a huge backlog from those moratoriums where they were not foreclosing.
Yeah.
So they're foreclosing now. So we're going to start to see more REOs, and I'm seeing the REOs right now.
Mhm.
And I think EXP as a company in itself is probably trying to get ahead of the curve with this, because they've had those training certificates to become a EXP REO certified agent.
Mhm.
So I actually did one of the courses last month. There's 2 more classes that I need to do in March, but it's a pretty interesting network, and the training is done right through the EXP world.
Yeah.
And apparently they've hired an asset manager from one of these portfolio companies that basically assigned REOs to agents around the country.
Yeah.
So they've hired one of those guys as the director. There's another REO lady that, she's got background in that. So I think EXP is smart in a sense that they're identifying that demand is going to be there, and they're trying to gain the attention of these asset management companies so that they can say, hey, look, come to us here at EXP. We've got a network of quote unquote certified REO EXP agents across the country. Start giving us the assignment. So for what it's worth, I'm going to give it a shot to see if I can start landing some assignments for these REOs, because I think that's something that is coming down the pipeline.
Oh yeah, it may very well be so, because just looking at the ratio of sold properties to properties taken back by the bank at the last sale you were at, there's going to be a lot of properties are going to be hitting the auction block or hitting the REO world, because how else are these banks going to liquidate these properties, right? And I think like what Alejandro said was probably pretty accurate, where they know they can get a lot more money if they auction it off through one of the auction houses, or if they throw it on the MLS, or both. Because if you guys notice, sometimes property is on the MLS and the instructions are to go to auction.com and bid there. So they're taking advantage of all angles to get the most for these properties. So I think that's the right foot. I think you're heading into the right direction, Chris, with saying that we should all be educated on how the REO world works. And I'll tell you this much right now. In 2006 and 7, when we were leading up to the crash, in 2008 and beyond, it was kind of already a well-known thing that REOs were here to stay. There was nowhere for you to learn about REO besides going to work for an REO broker. And working for an REO broker, you're kind of like, all right, it's a one-trick pony. That's all they do is REO.
Right.
So being at EXP, you have the ability to take an REO course from an asset manager. That's gold, because a lot of the questions that agents have can easily be answered by this individual who's been in the world, in the REO world, I'm sure probably multi decades. So take advantage of that. I didn't even know that was around, Chris. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so I think what I could probably do is I'll find the email with the invitation that I got, and I'll send that to you so you can circulate it to the group, because we're all in different territories, you know, here with the culture group. And if we can all be EXP certified REO agents, and these assignments are going to start to pop up, you know, we got Nicole in Newark, you know, I'm here in Morris and Sussex County, which is the area that I predominantly do business in. It'd be fantastic for our group. So I'll share that information because I think it's important for us to get that certification and be prepared for when the volume of those REOs come up.
Yeah. Well, at
You
the
know,
very worst.
I'm sorry, I keep realizing that, you know, it's kind of like you, Louis. How long did you talk to me about EXP before the light finally turned on, right? At least a year and a half. And I'm like, oh God, here's Louis again talking about EXP. Until that light finally turned on, and then it's kind of difficult to turn it on. And now that I'm with EXP, you know, I've got a tendency of kind of getting caught up in the routine and the system of things. But the moments that I take out to just log into EXP Enterprise, to go into my KV Core, there are so many tools in our toolbox that I've never experienced with Remax or with any of the other companies that I've worked for. And I know that Nicola was talking about signing up for that program, you know, cheap ass leads, whatever the name was.
Yeah. So
I actually, through KV Core, I have an exclusive listing here, and it's in a very desirable area in Dover. It's a condominium, 2-bedroom for $275. And it's like, you know, I need to sell my own inventory. So I convinced the owner, give me 60 days exclusive listing. He gave me a shot. So I'm like, I need to promote this thing now. And through KV Core, you can manually add an exclusive listing, right? Because otherwise it'll extract it if you have it in MLS. But if it's an exclusive listing, there's really nowhere to, so you got to manually enter it into KV Core. So I did that, manually entered it into KV Core. And then right through KV Core, you can actually boost the listing. Now, it was weird because I kept going through my Facebook page that I created for my EXP team. And, you know, sometimes you can like track and measure like how many leads you're getting. And I didn't see it. So I'm not sure how they're doing it or where they're promoting it. Long story short, like in a matter of, for $40, I promoted this listing for 6 days. And in 6 days, I had like over 964 visits to my EXP website. So the promoted ad for my listing, basically, I guess, was a landing page that was taking them to my EXP website. And then out of those 964 visits to my personal website, I had like 24 people click on the information and 4 people actually request the information. Now, of the 24 people that visited my website, you know, I kept getting email notifications through KV Core. You got another, you know, not necessarily a lead, but someone that came to the website, and it gave me their phone number. It gave me their email. It gave me their Facebook page. It gave me their Instagram page. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. So right through KV Core, I'm like, you know, I'm calling them through. I didn't even know you could call people through KV Core. You could push a button on KV Core call. It dials your cell phone number. You press 1 and it connects you with the lead. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know I had this tool, excuse me, available to me. So man, I spent like the past 6 days, at least an hour on KV Core, calling back these leads, promoting the open house. I had my mom host the open house yesterday, and it looks like we're going to sell it ourselves to a cash buyer. I'm like, holy shit. So
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just like, my mind is blown. Like, I got all these tools here at my exposure. Meanwhile, because for the past couple of months, it feels like the only
Yeah.
people that are calling me, the only time my cell phone rings is someone trying to sell me some new lead generation system.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. And I think, you know, if we're not on KV Core, we need to be using KV Core a lot more.
Yeah. Listen, that is beyond cool, Chris. And exactly what I said earlier today about, hey, when you find something that works, I don't know if you were on the call yet, Chris, when I said this, but when you find something that works and it clicks and it's something new, because remember, everything works until it doesn't, right? Sheriff cells worked until they dried up. REOs worked until they dried up. Like everything has this phase. And right now you discovered a new tool that actually really works and gives you results. So what's stopping Chris from now going through our EXP inventory, grabbing the next hot listing in Sussex or Morris County and promoting that one? Because guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but you don't have to have any listings. You can pull a listing from another EXP agent, even if it just hit the market or if it's even a pending status. And you know, you can just grab that listing and post it and run it for the weekend, because the best results are usually from Thursday to Sunday are usually the days that get you the best and the most views. So if you ran it for a weekend and spend $50 and you got 900 visits to your website, 2% of those leads are going to actually stick with you. And over time, this compounds just like Belinda's list is going to compound. Everything compounds. So you continuously do this for 6 months or maybe not even that long, and you're going to get some real like life-changing, career-changing results. So Chris, I can see Chris now doing this on a weekly basis, or assigning someone to go through, or maybe Chris will set up like an automated alert. So when a new listing in Morris County or Sussex County comes out for EXP, even if it's not his or his team members, he gets the alert, and then he gets the green light from the agent to promote it. He spends $50 on it, and then he gets leads like crazy. And now he's feeding not only himself, but he's feeding his agents too, right? So
Yeah.
this is now the way you start to scale this kind of opportunity. So there's nothing stopping you guys from doing the same thing in your neck of the woods, wherever you're working. Like Chris just gave me a great idea to try that here, because like, why not? You know, I spend more than that on flyers to go out every month. So why wouldn't I try that? Like, that's a great idea, Chris.
And I like what you just said there, that we can actually promote, you know, an EXP agent's new listing.
Mhm.
Because this past Friday or Thursday, I got an email notification about hot new listing in Dover. Now, Dover's my stomping ground, right? It's
Yeah.
where I grew up. So I get a little jealous when an agent gets a listing in Dover and I don't get it. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
who's coming into my territory? And it was an email notice. She must have blasted a bunch of people, and I don't know how she got my email, but it was this EXP agent, right? Young, pretty girl on the fly. I'm like, who is this girl? Why she got a listing in my town, and why is she not on my team?
Mhm.
And as I started researching the listing, it wasn't even her listing. It was some EXP agent from somewhere else. And then, but she was promoting it.
Good.
And I was like, wow, like that's
Smart.
a great idea. I need to do the same thing. And what I'm going to implement right after this call, it's on my calendar in my impact zone. I'm going to go to KV Core because there's actually a button there where you can promote to get seller leads.
Mhm.
So I just created this really cool video that I put out on my social media. And it's basically like, it's like my listing presentation, right? With my guaranteed sale pitch. And I'm going to see if I could boost that through KV Core to get seller leads. And I'm going to invest, you know, $40-50. If I could get at least 5 leads and, you know, get myself in front of people considering selling or wanting to know the value of their home.
Mhm.
That's what our business is about, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give that a try, and I'll be sure to let everybody know. But great tool that we have through KV Core. I really need to start using that a lot more.
Yeah. And that's under Make It Rain. I believe, you know, if you go to Make It Rain, you can set up campaigns there as well, or you can boost a single listing too. If you go to boost listing on your KV Core. So there's a lot of different ways to go about getting leads from KV Core, guys. But I'll tell you this much, EXP is not just like, they're not just like throwing up random leads for you. They have specialists that work in just that. Like they have guys and girls who work on Google leads and Facebook leads, but they know the exact text to write. They know the exact pictures to captivate people. So they already have this down to a science. So like I said to you, like I said to Nicola earlier, hey, listen, I got to wait for you to create your own Facebook leads. You know, we may not even need to do that because the Facebook algorithm changes so many times, and then their laws change so many times that my video from 2 years ago is probably completely off the mark by now. You know, so I think, you know, giving EXP a shot, if it's $50, you know what I love about EXP leads is that you can turn them on and off whenever you want. You're not committed to spending $1,000 a month. You can run them on the weekends, you know, whatever it is you want to do. So yeah, I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to report back to you guys in a month's time and let you know how it goes here in Florida. Okay.
Can I add something, which
Please-
Chris, I
please do.
think that you didn't realize?
Guys, I'm gonna step away for a second.
Okay, KV Core also gave us our own app, a home search app. So when you're in KV Core and you go look at your profile and you see your website and your supposed to be KV Core number, you'll notice that there's another line there. And it's for you to promote your own home search app,
Okay,
or a seller can actually go in and find out their evaluation. They didn't do a good job rolling this out. I think they rolled it out like 3 months ago.
mhm,
But I stumbled upon it because I just was doing a reverse for another person that I noticed came onto my, they were on my main website, but I have KV Core widgets embedded in my website. So when I just was fiddling around doing that and got pushed back into my KV Core website, I realized that there was a pop-up link that says you can now search homes on my new app, download it. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
wow,
So I downloaded it, and your face comes up for every single MLS listing. If they are on your app and they searching homes, it doesn't matter whose MLS listing it is. It always points to you for contact information. I don't hear you.
So you're saying that if I go to my EXP website on the top right, it'll be there to download the app?
No, there'll be a pop-up link on your EXP website to
Okay.
download the app. You can copy the link and use that in your other promotional stuff.
Gotcha,
If you go into your KV Core back office, you'll see the last list in your profile. You'll see that there's a link there for your app. It's
Okay.
called 360 Home.
nice, thank you for sharing that,
It's
awesome,
neat.
awesome, I gotta
And
try
I'm
that.
like, oh, I'm big time. I got an app. Whoop, whoop. But I'm also doing the REO. I think this Thursday is the last one for Affinity. So as you know, that group does 3. So you should really get all 3. You should get the relocation, the
Right,
REO, and the Affinity.
okay,
Okay. The
Mhm.
Affinity gives you the opportunity to go to businesses in the corporate offices that's not already linked up with EXP to help there, so that you go inside there and do either home buying or home selling seminars to the employees that do not get money from the company when they have to relocate, or if they're relocating just on personal business.
gotcha,
But yeah, it's cutting edge.
okay, awesome,
Just like you said, we're ahead of the curve.
yeah, a lot of good stuff in our toolbox.
Yeah. Louis, did you hear me that we have a personal home search app?
No, what is that? Aside from
Uh,
our app, like that we get as EXP agents?
Yep, we have
Oh
a
yeah,
KV Core home search app. It's called 360 Home,
yeah.
and it pops.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it pops up on your website when a new person goes to do a search for them to download the app.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, when I set up my drip campaigns, I copy the link to the app and I make
Mhm.
that one of my first drips that goes out to them. I invite them to start using the app. So it's a great tool to have because it's thorough and it's really, the user interface is so friendly. And if you're using it on the road when you're driving around, it shows you homes that are nearby. So it's really good for agents that are really good for clients that are actively looking and driving around in circles. So yeah, that's a
Hey,
good one.
Louis,
Yes, sir.
can you show me that postcard?
Oh yeah,
Give me a
yeah.
little sneak peek, come on, show it.
Oh yeah. So let me show you. I'll show you guys the actual. Yeah, let me share my Canva where I
Okay.
created it. Now I use what's it called? Photoshop pretty easily. Like I do Photoshop, a bunch of different things. But to be honest with you, I found the simpler the design, the more attention it gets.
Right.
So let me just log into my Canva account so I can show you guys.
What's it called? Ken?
Canva, Canva. It's like the easiest,
Okay.
literally the easiest thing for anyone who doesn't have like what's that called? Designer experience. Anybody
Okay.
can use it. Yeah. Okay, so when you click on it, so I went with the brightest, ugliest colors you can find, even though you know, obviously it may not be your aesthetic. It's not my aesthetic, but it gets the most attention. So I did a lot of research on flyers that go out and what gets more views. And the most popular ones are always going to be bright. So what I did was I kept it real clean, subtle, no personalized photos. I sent this out for 2 months now. First month, I got 4,000 postcards that went out. Second month, I think it was like 3,500 postcards. Very simple. And I created a website called lovemyoffer.com. So I looked up URLs that were available in my niche. It's kind of hard. That's probably going to spend most time looking for the URL for someone to actually go on and click on. So once somebody goes to this website, I'll take you guys to this website in just a second. And on the back, I have, again, just little clean design, space for the postage, and then space here for like other little random things that the post office puts on here. And that's it. So I invite them to get an instant offer. Just fill out the 5-question application. So now I'm going to take you guys to lovemyoffer.com so you can see what that actually consists of. It's so easy. I mean, I created it myself. It's just a stupid little web page. I did it on Google. I didn't even pay like GoDaddy or Wix or anything. I created it on Google. Google allows you to make your own little websites. So I put in a stock banner. I recorded a little video in front of my house, a little text here. Now you guys can use ChatGPT to create your own text if you want. Get an instant offer now. They've got here, fill out our quick form, get an offer, set your closing date, 3 steps. And then this is the actual application. But if someone goes here and they click on this, it takes them to the application, which I created on Google also. On Google, you can create everything on Google. You don't even have to pay anybody to do any of this. Fill out your email, fill out your name, fill out your phone number, fill out your email address, phone number, how soon you want to close, preferred method of contact, and then anything else that you want to ask us, right? So the first month, I think I got like 5 or 6 leads from sellers who wanted to sell their home. One that might turn out to be a listing here in Naples, and another one that I have an active offer on in Palm Beach Gardens on the East Coast. You know, so just from the first month alone, it'll pay for the marketing probably for the rest of the year if these deals turn out to close. And then this month I sent out 3,500. I got 2 leads so far this month. But the thing with these postcards is that you may not get a call right away, and they may keep it and call you in like 60 days, maybe 6 months, who knows? But it's just a compound effect. So after you keep hitting the same homes over and over again, you know, sooner or later they're gonna react. So I'll share this with you guys if you want. You know, you guys can copy my website. You can literally copy my site. If you guys want it, you can literally copy it and use the same site, just edit it with your information. The Canva thing, if you guys want to copy it, you can copy this as well. Just reach out to me by email and I'll hook you guys up with all of this. And yeah, it's pretty simple. And then once people like fill out the information on here, it goes to a spreadsheet and you get an alert when somebody fills it out. So you instantly know that you've got a new lead. So you don't have to pay for CRMs or expensive systems. You can create all this stuff yourself. So there's no reason for you guys to.
Louis, does
Not try
canvas.com
something.
actually mail it out to you, or they send you the postcards and then you got to put like stickers, mail
Oh,
it?
great question. So Canva, I think, does have an option to mail out for you, but I use Vistaprint because I found that they'd be the most reliable and cheapest option. So I upload this to Vistaprint, and then Vistaprint puts the postage on it and mails it direct to my list. I don't even take delivery of the postcards.
Okay,
And I end up paying about 50 cents per flyer.
okay.
And I think postage is 50 cents nowadays. So it comes out very, very cheap if you use if you do them in batches, big batches, and you go through a place like Vistaprint.
Louis, I
Look,
think this is worth $100,000, this information you just gave me.
I'll
Hey,
give you
look.
everything. I'll give you everything I got, guys. What's up, brother?
Do you try retargeting ads like after you get the email on phone number on
I don't have
this
enough
leads?
data. I don't have enough data yet, but eventually I will, because I've only got like 2 months in. I got about 10 leads. But the 10 leads that I have are, if anyone's responding off of a postcard, they're hot, like they're ready to do something. And the people I'm targeting are people that are in distress anyway. So, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I would love to retarget, Alejandro, but I just don't have enough data yet. I may have a lot of people who visit my site that don't end up filling out the form. So I do have a Google Analytics tracker on that. So I'm gonna retarget those people probably after the end of Q1, after I'm doing this, maybe 6 months in, depending on how much data I have. That might be too late by
That's
then.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would go as far as not just mailing it, and if we're able to get the number, call them, but then end up just showing up the door and introducing yourself.
Absolutely.
Jab,
Absolutely.
jab, knockout.
Yeah, of course. And those are all things that you could definitely do. All the numbers I'm getting are correct. That's good sign, because people are serious. I'm talking to them, and then maybe they're not ready right now, or maybe they're just don't feel enough pain yet. But like you said, eventually they're gonna sell. So you follow up with them, once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on their urgency, and then you show up at their house one day. Hey, I was in the neighborhood. You build a relationship. Yeah, good. Any questions on this, guys? I know I kind of went
Good
quick on this,
stuff.
but yeah. Yeah. Any questions you have on stuff like this? I mean, I'll give you my experience. I'll play the video for you guys. It's a simple video. I didn't want to be like too long-winded. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to make an offer on your home. My name is Luis Leyva, and I've been involved in over 2,000 transactions. I've also been in real estate for over 20 years and been featured in many real estate publications. So when you get an offer from us, it's going to make it to the closing table. The process is very easy. Just fill out a short 5-question application down below, and we'll have you an offer within 24 hours that you can bank on. I look forward to doing business with you. So let's get started today.
Short, simple, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah, that's all you need. And you don't need to
You
go
look younger
overboard.
in the video, Louis. What did you do? What kind of filter did you use?
Yeah, I used what is that? What is that? What's that thing called? Snapchat. Yeah.
Okay.
Make me look like a baby. Yeah. And all of these graphics, guys, I downloaded from just like a stock website. You guys can download these graphics. You can download anything you want. This banner I downloaded, you just have, the thing is, a lot of people think that things are a lot more difficult than they really are, and they're really not. It's really not. It's very, very simple to do a lot of this stuff. You just need to take the time to actually wrap your head around what you're trying to do, and it's all out there for you. The fact that you guys know what you know right now probably seemed like an impossibility to you 10 years ago. So as long as you take the time and just know what your objective is, you'll figure it out, and you could do it relatively cheap. You don't have to pay somebody a ton of money to set up a website anymore, or a URL, landing pages, do all that with just Google. And if you guys are like thinking like, what the hell, like, what are you talking about? It seems so difficult. All you got to do is go into your Drive or Google anything, and then here where it says new, it says, do you want to create, what do you want to create? You want to create a new form? This is what I use to create my 5-question application. Do you want to create a website? I went here to Google Sites, like whatever it is that you want to. I even bought my domain from Google Domains. Like, it's that simple. It's very simple.
All these tools we have at our exposure, we're like, this is good stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I learned a lot from you guys today too.
Google Drive all the time. All
Yeah,
the time.
Simple. Any questions, guys? Anybody want to add anything?
Stuff.
The only thing I want to ask Nicola with those deals that she lost is if she provided comps. Did she bother to do comps before she submitted and used her comps to submit her offers?
Yeah, that's generally the practice. In terms of submitting an offer though, you have buyers that kind of get the last say. So when you have buyers who kind of want what they want and they can afford it, comps is a tool that we have, but they don't always really acknowledge like, oh, I'm going to go off of the comps. It's kind of like still a little bit of a race, 7, 8, 9 offers. It's not 40 like it was 2 years ago. But when you have, like competing multiple and we're already above lists, the comps kind of go out the window for a buyer who's been looking now since last year. You know, the desperation just kind of says, I could afford it. Let's just go with it. After the appraisals come out, I forget what it's called, but I even had appraisers that reached out. There's a process that the banks use to say, hey, can you submit something? Because we're not finding that this house is valued at what you're offering. So I've even gone through and submitted some of those. So you might have one number that's somewhat close, but remember the comps are 3. And yeah, the appraisals weren't really off, to be honest with you.
Yeah. There's something on the appraisal that you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever seen before. Maybe I'll pull it up on next week's training. There's a section where the appraiser has to check off, is the market in a declining market? Is it an appreciating market, or is it a stable market? Right now, you guys are probably going to see a lot more than you're used to. You're probably going to see that box checked off where it says declining. And if we're in a declining market, you bet your ass that the appraisers are not going to be stretching values. They're going to be very conservative in values. If this was a year or two ago, they could stretch values because it was an appreciating market and their license isn't in jeopardy. Right now, if somebody overappraises a home and a bank is using you and your management company to get appraisals, and 2 months down the road, as soon as a property appraises, it's already like underwater, banks are not going to want to do business with that management company. So management companies scrutinize how conservative an appraiser is, or how, you know, how crazy an appraiser is. And they make adjustments, you know. So appraisers, they're just looking out for themselves and make sure their license isn't on the line. If it was like the good old days when there wasn't no management companies, appraisers would have a little more free reign because you get to pick who comes out. But the way things are set up now, appraisers are not going to be sticking out their neck for anybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you guys remember Jared from the Hard Money guy? He told me
Mhm.
recently that he's seeing appraisers getting cut by 10% all the time in Jersey. You know, maybe not every area, but some areas for sure.
Do you still have those clients, Nicola? Are they still willing to work with you?
Yes.
Okay.
The only challenge now, big picture, is the same thing is continuing to happen. I think it kind of starts with some of the list price. It's still priced a little high. So
Mhm.
now when you have multiple offers on something that's priced, let's say it's probably about $10,000 over what it should be, and you have multiple, and you have this buyer that can afford it. Again, comps are going to go out the window. I can afford it. It's 10,000 more. So you're kind of back in almost the same position. Working on some different things, going at different angles. For example, I have one that's interested in multis, and instead of going for one that's renovated, we're talking now about going for the ones that are not, because I feel like we'll have a better shot there rather than competing and having it under appraised again and being in the same position. And the other thing that worked one time is I spoke to the listing agent, and I'm like, look, bro, you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at. You and I know, you know, so I got the listing agent on board, but the seller, you know, they don't have the last say again. The seller did not want to concede to a price reduction.
They're not there yet. Sellers are still think they're in control.
Right.
You know, and it may still work out in their favor because at the end of the day, you know, an appraiser is an appraisal. It's just an opinion of one person, unless it's an FHA appraisal and that gets logged in, then they're screwed. If another FHA appraisal comes behind it. But a lot of times you may kill a deal in this market, and the person behind you might be a conventional buyer who's willing to pay the difference, or might be a cash buyer. You know, so that's still a possibility in a lot of people's heads. So that's until you stop seeing that, then the sellers are going to be like, oh, okay, then I better negotiate. And those days will come around again, probably sooner than you may think.
Yeah. Just only thing I got to say is if they're still willing to work with you, make sure you gain their trust, and that they trust you to know that you know what you're doing and that you are the trained negotiator. And when it doesn't work out for them, then it wasn't meant for them at that time. But for me, I never concede to my buyer or my seller. They
Yeah.
have to know that I don't tell them I'm the professional, but they chose me for a reason, and they need to stand still and see that I got their best work at interest. And it always works out. And those that are just really difficult to deal with, I don't even think you want them as a headache to begin with, because they will run you crazy and they will make you feel incompetent. And that's the last thing any agent needs to feel, is incompetent about what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. Yeah, when you're working with a buyer and appraisals come in short, it really all boils down to your delivery. Because they've most likely they've never bought a house before, or they have very limited experience in the real estate market. So for them to get the news that their home under appraised could scare them, quite
Mhm.
quite bad, and to the point where maybe they get traumatized and they don't want to buy right now because they think it's the end of the world. So I believe that the best thing for the situation to work out would be for you to deliver the information. Never let the information get delivered to them by their loan officer or the attorney. Make sure you deliver that information, because when you deliver it, you could put your own spin on it. So for instance, Mr. Buyer is working with me, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, they're working with me. I would approach them and say, guys, I gotta talk to you about something. And you don't want to talk to them initially about like putting out more money out of their pocket. Let them decide if they want to do that. What I would do is this: Mr. and Mr. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I got to talk to you about something that's really important. I've got some really good news, and I potentially some bad news too. So the good news is that we got the appraisal back, and we're in a position to try to negotiate this thing for less than what we're in the contract for. Oh, really? Oh my God, that's a great news, right? You got them excited. You're going to get it for less money. Now, the potential bad news is the seller may say no. And if the seller does say no, then we got to start from scratch. But this could be a blessing in disguise, because the last thing you want is for a home to be underwater before you even close on it, correct? Yeah, absolutely. Good thing we know now it's not worth what we offered on it. All right, so we could potentially get a good deal on this home by dropping maybe another 10, 15,000, 20,000, whatever it's under appraising for. But in the worst case scenario, is there any part of you that is willing to pay the difference if we can't come to terms? If we have to, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let them make that decision, because initially what you want to come in is as the hero who's going to help them navigate this, whether it's this house or another house in the future. You want to make sure, listen, even if it doesn't work out with this house and the seller's not cooperative, don't worry, maybe it's a sign and we work on something else, and then we get a better deal even maybe down the road. Make sense? Yeah. So you're preparing them for the worst case scenario already, but you already kind of laid the groundwork that you're going to be with them no matter what. Is that what you're referring to, Belinda? Something along those lines?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Never let bad news get delivered to your client by someone else, because that could scare them to the point where they don't even answer anyone's calls anymore. They're embarrassed. They want out. They don't know what to make of it. Make sure you deliver that news always. Be in control. I remember a friend of mine once told me, we don't get paid to open doors. We get paid to solve problems. So remind yourself of that. All right, cool. I think we did pretty good today, guys. And I know I got a lot of great information. Chris, thank you. Belinda, you guys are awesome for giving us great info today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll close out with our prayer. Father God, thank you so much, Father, for giving us another day and giving us the opportunity to be here together, Father. Father, we ask you to please forgive us for all the things that we do in our life, Father, that we don't even realize sometimes, but they're not in your ways, Father. We ask you to please open our eyes and allow us to become better followers of your word, Father, and please bless us with your knowledge every single day. Father, we also ask you to take the information that we learned today and be able to apply it, Father, and see the results of the fruits of our labor, Father, that we're going to dedicate to this. Father, we ask you also to make us better individuals. That way we can influence those around us. And we ask you to bring us here again, Father, in good health next week and in good spirits. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm pumped.
And good stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Lou,
What's up?
at 12, I'll be logging into Veronica Figueroa.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be getting a lot of value and a lot of ideas because it's so big. I think it's maybe
And
not 100 agents, man.
I want to jump on it because it's Florida based, so I want to learn more about what they're doing on the East Coast. So you said you sent us the link last time, right?
Yeah, you want me to send it again?
Can you put it? Yeah, I'm gonna make it a recurring event on my calendar. Can you drop it in the chat right now?
Sure. Bro, it's insane how these people work, bro.
Yeah, I want to hear. I like being around people who push you. Accountability.
Let me see what I can get. I'll be getting like the way they structure offers, like with the video and all that stuff, I implemented. I haven't been able to close anything yet, but they have the master buyer email with the video and all that stuff. So I try.
For those of you who don't know who Veronica Figueroa is, she's a broker out of Orlando who joined EXP about 2-3 years ago, and her team averages about 2,000 transactions a
2000
year.
change.
A year, guys. 300 is a lot. 2,000 is just on another world.
Insane. Okay.
I'm just trying to get to 50.
You and me alike.
One at a time. One at
So to make $1 out of 15 cents.
a time. Let me put it on the chat. There we go.
There we go.
At 12. Okay.
12 sharp.
Yep.
All right, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your knowledge, man. Every week. Appreciate it.
Oh no, man. Thank you guys for being here. And if you guys come up with any great opportunities or need any help throughout the week, don't feel free, guys, to just email crew@culture, and we're always here. I know we don't have like a formal chat room or anything like that, but the email is always here for you guys in case you know, you want to get out to everyone quickly.
All right, good deal.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.